In this video, I'll be going over the Derby Stars NFT project built on the Terra Blockchain. Derby Stars is a metaverse play-to-earn horse racing game that will allow players to grow their horses, breed them, train them to win races, as well as build out their own metaverse land and of course trade with other players. So Derby Stars is one of the most highly anticipated games, play-to-earn games on Terra, and in this video I'll be going over the gameplay, how it will actually work in terms of the mechanics and all of the likes with the NFTs. So if that does interest you, be sure to stick with me until the very end. Without further ado, let's get right into it and let the games be with you. Welcome to Crypto Empire. My name is Connor, and this is where we dominate the crypto market. If you are new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below and turn on all bell notifications so that you don't miss any future videos. Now we are here on the Derby Stars official website, and we can see they do have some nice graphics playing in the background, and we can also read that players will be able to acquire and ride your very own NFT racehorses, as well as you can breed them and nurture the very best horse. They have had 2 NFT mints so far. These NFT mints have all taken place on one planet. Alright, at the current moment in time, the floor price of a Derby Stars horse is 8.8 Luna. And there will be another NFT mint later on next month in May of 2022. We'll be getting into those details later on. But first things first, let's go over the Derby Stars white paper that was just released. And this really does cover the main aspects of the gameplay within Derby Stars. And this is very important to understand if you are, of course, holding one of these NFTs of these horses and you are interested in playing this play-to-earn game down the line when more is released. So we can read right here, what is Derby Stars? So Derby Stars is a horse racing metaverse game where players can breed, grow, build, and trade. Players can train their horses over a long period of time through the in-game training system and race against other players using the stats, talents, and skills of each horse. All right, we can go and take a look at one planet. We'll just pick the floor price horse. And we can see that all of the attributes are listed here, including the skills, right? There's speed, stamina, power, grit, and intellect. And then there are also the special skills down here. There are 6 of these, okay? And these we'll be going over within the white paper. And then there are the talents, okay? The talents are very important. They do go from S, which is the best level talent, then A, B, C, D. So S is the best and D is the worst. And overall, there are 5 overall talents. Realistically, you want as many S's as possible and as least many D's as possible on your horse. We'll be getting into that later on in the video. Anyway, so during this process, players can feed the horse with special food to awaken its hidden abilities, and feeding can also level up players' horses. So feeding horses food is pretty much like giving them experience points. And then if a horse wins the first place in a race, the player can earn lots of rewards, and horses with numerous championship history will serve as excellent stallions in breeding. So by going through this white paper, you're going to understand that the team over at Derby Stars really tried to make this metaverse game as realistic as possible. We'll be getting into the team of this project later on in the video, but just know it is a very strong team backed by some very big investors, and this is a serious project. This is no small-time operation going on at Derby Stars, so keep that one in mind as we do progress through the video. So we can see this is a play-to-earn model. All right, so you're going to be able to breed, train your horses, race your horses, earn rewards. Then, of course, you can sell your NFTs, your horses for Luna. You can trade them with other players, etc., etc. This will have a whole in-game economy, and there are actually 2 tokens within the Derby Stars virtual economy. So Derby Stars is oriented towards play to earn, of course. All players can acquire governance tokens and utility tokens through various activities in the game. Even people who don't own a horse can monetize through in-game scholarship programs. Scholarship programs are, of course, very popular in the play to earn model. Axie Infinity is the perfect example of that. So examples of play to earn mechanics of Derby Stars include the monetization of horse training, monetization via participation in various tournament races, obtain a new foal through NFT breeding, monetization via the role of stallion in breeding, right? So if you got a stud horse that has won many races, people are going to be paying a lot of tokens to be able to breed with your stud, right? They want to make this as realistic as possible, as I did say earlier. So you can also obtain common or rare horses through breeding and sell them on the marketplace. And then you can lend your horses to other players and share the profits from the horses' activities. All right, so they did have their first NFT mint. Like I said, this is a 3-part mint. The first one was on December 6th of last year. And there are currently 6,027 horses on the market. So the next mint that will take place in May, there will be 4,000 horses minted, which will bring the total to 10,027 horses. All right, so this is a 10,000 NFT set collection. And we can see that horses sold during pre-sale are uniquely marked origin because they do not have parents, unlike horses born by crossbreeding. And then the token. So Derby Stars utilizes a dual token economic model and issues Run, a governance token, and CRT, a utility token on, of course, the Terra Blockchain. And Derby Stars is a full 3D game that is available on PC and will later support Android mobile in the future. And now let's go over the Derby Stars vision, and then we'll get into the actual gameplay. So Derby Stars' goal is not just a simple AAA horse racing game, but it is also planned to expand to the metaverse through the use of land NFTs in the future. Building a complete ecosystem for all players to enjoy, interact, and benefit together within this universe is Derby Stars' team's top priority, and the direction of development of Derby Stars will be made through input from the community and the Derby DAO. All right, so we will go over the team very shortly. This is a very big team, and I encourage you to join the Derby Stars Discord, where you can interact with the team directly and ask them all the questions that you would like. All right, we'll be getting into the roadmap later on. Now let's go over the gameplay. So this gameplay is very realistic and it is very intricate. This is very well thought through, so let's get into it right now. The basics of gameplay. So all players can train and race their horses inside Derby Stars and acquire new horses by, of course, breeding them. There is a training program that is completely different from other blockchain horse racing games. So they're making their own game here. They are not copying anything. This is not a derivative project. This is built from the ground up from a AAA gaming studio. And you can experience all competitions from local class to world class within a set scenario for a virtual time of about 3 years in the game, right? That's virtual time. Players can get native tokens and food through the results of training, and food can be fed back when they want to bring out the special abilities of the horses in training and racing. Food can be used to increase experience points that leads to leveling up a horse, and when the level rises, players receive 1 stat point and invest in any of the horse's 5 major stats to improve the horse's abilities. Right, the stats over here, we talked about them. There's speed, stamina, power, grit, and intellect. So this is what you're going to be leveling up in the game. We can also read further that Derby Stars also supports a reproductive system, this is very important, in which parental factors are passed on to offspring through sophisticated calculations. Except for unique horses, all horses can be obtained through breeding, and everyone is free to give birth to fowls within a set number of breeds. That is 10, so there will be a maximum of 10 breeds per horse. Keep that one in mind. And breeding horses with good innate abilities or winning history produces superior fowls. And even if this is not the case, it is possible to have a superior fowl through mutation factors. And in addition, they're working on the scholarship program as well. And there will be PvP tournaments as well as PvE tournaments where you will race against a computer. Now, there is also condition of horses. So if a horse goes through training, it will need to rest or you will need to feed it food, basically. We can read very briefly, all horses in Derby Stars have condition, and this condition level will gradually decrease when the horse participates in a training program or a race tournament. So you need to take care of your horses and make sure they are in good condition. If you send your horse to training or a race tournament, you could possibly damage it even further. And the condition is gradually restored over time, and it is also possible to immediately recover the horse's condition by feeding them certain food. All right, and we talked about the 2 tokens in Derby Stars. There's the Run token. This one has a fixed supply of 500 million. We'll go over the tokenomics in a bit. And this is the governance token of Derby Stars, and it is obtainable through PvP race tournaments, and it is used for breeding and crafting. And then there's the CRT token. This is the utility token. This will have an unlimited supply, and this will be obtainable through PvP or PvE race tournaments. This is used in breeding, crafting, and food synthesis. All right, now let's go over the training very briefly. So there is a training program for Derby Stars. Basically, the player progresses through the program for a hypothetical period of about 3 years according to the flow of a set scenario. The first course of the program always starts with a tutorial, and this course can be skipped after the first play. And before training, you're going to set goals for which competitions your horses will actually participate in. All right, so you're basically going to select a race and then start to train for that. And then after you set your goal, your horse is given the training period. And we can go ahead and read that the training period is determined in proportion to the size of the target competition. So if you're going for the big race, it's going to be a bigger training period. The larger the competition, the greater the difficulty and reward. And the length of the full training scenario is always fixed at 3 years in the virtual game. All right, and we talked about the 5 major stats that you'll be training: speed, power, stamina, intellect, and grit. And the horse's condition will deteriorate during training, so you're going to want to make sure that you take good care of your horse's condition, of course. And the training that the horse likes and dislikes will change, and the amount of condition used during unwanted training increases. So if your horse doesn't want to train, it's going to worsen the condition of the horse, and you're going to have to feed it or let it rest. All right, so if the horse isn't feeling well, it's recommended that you rest it and not train it. And then also, if you train your horse when it doesn't want to train, it is possible that you can get injured or gain a bigger training effect with the fighting spirit effect. So basically, you send your horse to training, it doesn't want to train, so it's going to be a little bit angry. So either it's going to injure itself, or it's going to be angry and train really hard, and you're going to get a bigger effect from the training. It is random, which will actually play out in your horse's case, of course, given the specific training session. So when a horse is injured, various debuffs are obtained depending on the type of injury. So there will be 3 results of training: either great, success, or bad. All right, and then within training your horses, at times you will have mini games, and clearing these mini games greatly increases the effectiveness of training. All right, and then PvE tournaments, this is against the computer. These begin when all trainings during the set period have been completed, and then your horse will go through and race in the tournament. And there are different possible outcomes for the tournament. S is the best rank, and then the lowest grade is F. Okay, so of course you want your horse to win its tournament, so you get the S rank and the highest possible rewards that do include the run utility token, as well as the other utility token, which of course can be sold on the market for Luna or UST or whatever cryptocurrency you do like. So that is basically the play to earn model right there, including the training. Now the PvE tournament races, so the tracks will be different, right? So each track is going to be randomly generated. It's going to be turf or dirt, and all the information about the different race tracks will be available for players. And we can see as well for these horses, so they do have a preference with the type of track they like to race on. So this specific horse dislikes turf and is indifferent towards a normal dirt track. All right, so keep that in mind when you're trading your horses or minting them. Each horse has a specific preference for the type of track it will be racing on, and that will have an effect in the race. And we can also read that players can also feed them with foods that give them special bonuses to gain an advantage in the race. And after all selections are made, the race will start. You can see there's 18 horses here participating in this specific race. And then after the race ends, you're going to be able to see your rank that you did place, etc., etc. Now with the PvP tournaments, we are waiting on more information about that. And the tracks and stadiums, so we already briefly went over that. Some will be on actual land, and then some will have a fantasy environment, as you can see up here in the sky. So this does take a lot of work to develop a type of metaverse like this, so it's going to be very interesting. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be having a lot of fun racing in all of these different varied environments with their horses. So we can go ahead and read right here that environmental parts related to bad weather such as snow and rain are realistically reproduced in the game, and in addition to the traditional turf track, even the dirt track, which is heavily influenced by environmental parts, is implemented. So the team is preparing to expand the concept of the Derby Metaverse with land NFTs. All players in the game will be able to create and own any type of stadium they want. Through their own stadium, they will be able to host more types of race tournaments and earn profits by doing so. All right, so this is going to be very interesting, and it's going to be another way for players to actually go ahead and earn from Derby Stars. And you're going to be able to see the play-by-play of the race in real time as it is happening. You're going to be able to see all of the horses' different skills that they are using in real time during the race. If your horse gets injured during the race, you're going to be able to see that, and you're going to have a play-by-play broadcast from artificial intelligence letting you know exactly what is happening. Now the breeding of the horses. Let's go over the breeding. As you can see with this image here, these horses are showing some affection towards each other, of course, with breeding. So all horses in Derby Stars can give birth to multiple fowls within a set number of matings. The horse owned by the player does not have a specific gender. If you breed as a calf, you will get a fowl, and if you breed as a stallion, you will earn a fee. All right, so the stud earns a fee, and the calf gets a baby horse or a fowl. So the max number of matings is 10. This is the same for all horses across the board, and the number of matings only increases if you breed as a calf. Okay, so as a calf, you're going to select the horse you want to breed with, and then you will go to the marketplace and find a stallion that you want to breed with, and then you will pay the required cost for breeding and then hit that breed button. And then after that, you're going to get something called a soul. All right, let's go over that. And as a stallion, people are basically going to request to breed with you, and you're just going to get paid in the governance token, I do believe, if your stallion wants to get breeded with by a calf. And if you have a stud horse that wins a lot of races or has a lot of desired traits, you're going to get more breeding requests. And the more breeding requests that you do get, the more tokens you will get when you do breed with a calf. All right, so owning a good stallion can make you basically a lot of money, recurring revenue as well, because you will have unlimited breedings when your horse breeds as a stallion. So also there will be no inbreeding and all that stuff. It's very realistic, and they don't want any horses to come out the wrong way, if you know what I'm saying. So no inbreeding, and also you can't crossbreed between parents and children. So it's good they implemented those details. So we can go ahead and read further about the genetic formula. The Derby Stars breeding system works based on complex and sophisticated algorithms. There is a high probability that the foal will inherit the traits of course, the parent horses, and with a low probability a foal with a mutant factor that deviates from the genetic formula could be born. So you could get a random genetic freak horse out of nowhere that ends up being a total stud and makes you a lot of money potentially. So the result of breeding, after breeding occurs, you will get a soul, right? Just like real life. And then after 120 hours or 5 days time, you will be able to click a button and the soul will hatch into a foal. And then after 3 days, the foal will turn into a grown-up horse. So the fee of breeding will be the breeding fee plus the mating application fee. All right, and the breeding fees are paid in both the CRT and run token. The CRT cost increases in proportion to the number of breeding, and the run cost is determined by the sum of the rarities of the two horses mating. So if you have a common and unique horse, it's going to cost, for example, 3 run. Then the mating application fee. So if you want to breed with a rare stallion, it's going to cost more CRT tokens than a normal, regular stallion. So keep that in mind. Now moving on, there will be more information soon about the scholarship program and renting out your horses. Now let's get into the actual NFTs. All right. So with the horse NFTs, remember we talked about it. This is what they look like on one planet. Floor price is 8.8 Luna. And you will either have a horse, a soul, or a foal. And of course the souls and the fowls do turn into horses after the periods of time that we did just discuss. So the horses are key elements of gameplay in Derby Stars, of course, being that it is a metaverse horse racing play to earn game. So the origin horses, these have no parents. This is what we are minting right now, basically. The 2 mints have already taken place, and there will be a 3rd mint in May next month. So a total of 3 pre-sales. Various benefits will be provided to origin horses and its owners, all right? So you're going to get a special treat later on for having an origin horse. And even after the game launch, origin horses with new looks will be provided continuously, but the quantity and frequency of sales will be much lower than pre-launch, all right? So there are 3 rarities. There are unique, rare, and common horses. Keep in mind, even some common horses could have very high skills, right? So rarity is a factor to consider, but even common horses could end up being very useful in championship stud horses. Who knows, right? So the skills are varied. Even common horses could be very good. The 5 skills, we've already went over these. Intellect is basically the skill activation probability and frequency of use. The horse's sight and the debuff avoidance. So if you have a smart horse, it's going to be able to activate its skills more often. Grit, of course, a gritty horse. Deceleration, improve the dirt / turf / weather adaptability. It doesn't care if it's raining or snowing, it's going to compete no matter what. That's what grit is all about. And the penalty is reduced when surrounded by many horses. Stamina is the amount of hit points that you have and the amount of time that your horse can run at max speed. Power is acceleration and penalty reduced for running corners. And then speed, of course, is the maximum velocity. So when a horse is created, the total number of stats awarded is 250. And the maximum number of stats a single stat can have is 100, which is the same for all horses. Each time a horse eats food, an experience point is gained, and as the XP accumulates, the level rises. When a horse levels up, it gains 1 additional stat point, and players can pick a desired stat among the horse's 5 major stats. Currently, the maximum level of a horse is 50, and the total of stats cannot exceed 300, but we are considering a plan to increase the maximum level in the future. However, even if the maximum level is increased, one stat value will not exceed 100, and the total number of stats a horse possesses will not exceed 350. All right, so some basic information there about the stats. Now with the talents, there are 4 different talents: the runaway runner, the front runner, the stalker, and the stretch runner. So we did discuss earlier on in the video, the grades do go from A, B, C, D, and then S is the best, D is the worst. But we can see that there is also an E class, and E grade is given only to horses born through breeding. No origin horses will have a E grade. All right, so if you're looking to pick up a horse right now in the secondary, you want them to have as many S's as possible and as least D's as possible. You want yourself a good horse with good talents. Here we can see a breakdown of the 4 individual talents. And then, of course, the track preferences. So either the turf or dirt. If your horse likes turf, you're going to want to use that in the turf races. If it likes dirt, use that horse for dirt races. That's why it's good to have a few horses, in my opinion, so that you can be ready for whatever racetrack you do end up having to race on. And then the skills. So the skills are very interesting because there are a lot of different skills. So we can go ahead and read that a horse's skill composition consists of 1 special skill and 5 common skills. Common skills are activated in all areas except the last spurt during the race, and special skills are activated only in the last spurt. All skills are automatically activated. Remember, your intellect will play a part when your skills are activated without a separate use procedure, but because there is an activation probability, a skill does not have a 100% chance to activate even if the activation conditions are met. Moreover, intellect affects the probability of these triggers, and the effects of skills cannot be enhanced or changed through training. So also the body parts of the different horses. Go ahead and look at this on your own time. And then, of course, the different rarities. They can be unique, rare, or common. All right, so those are the horses. This is a very intricate game. A lot has went into this. This is a serious gaming studio building this one out. Of course, the soul is created after you breed the horse, right? And then after 5 days, you can click a button and it will hatch into a foal. And then your foal is a baby horse, right? So after 3 days, this will turn into a regular horse. Also, there will be NFT land later on in the Derby Stars Metaverse. So NFT land, of course, will be a huge industry. I predict in the future that metaverse land, metaverse real estate will be a $1 trillion industry. So if Derby Stars can just catch a little piece of that pie, there's a very high potential that this land could be worth a lot in the future. Of course, this game hasn't even released their alpha version yet, but like I said, this is a pretty serious team building this one out, and you can see with this white paper how well thought through it really is. So now moving on, of course, there will be a jockey for the horse, and this is the player avatar, and you're going to be able to choose your avatar and customize it later on in the game. And then the different skills, of course, for the horses. So there are over 500 skills in Derby Stars. The type of skills are divided into common skills and special skills. We talked about the common skills can be activated anytime during the race except for the last spurt section. The special skill will be activated at the last spurt to give you that extra edge to hopefully win the race. And also there are different tiers for the skills. So in the case of common skills, grades are divided from tier 1 to tier 10. And in the case of special skills, grades are divided from tier 1 to tier 5. All right, so of course you want the best possible skills. So the common skills and the special skills, basically they will give you advantages such as you get your condition higher, you can recover your HP faster, you can increase your power on a dirt track, etc., etc. Each horse does have a different skill. All right, you can see over here, skills 1 through 6. This particular horse has this set of skills, and there are over 500 and they are all random. So each horse will basically possess a different set of skills that will come in handy during the race. So that is very cool. And the special skill, of course, is at the final stretch. Now the items in the game, so there is a variety of items from food, clothes, and accessories for the jockey. And in the case of the jockey related items, the jockey customization system is still under development, so be looking out for that. And a crafting system is currently in development, so stay tuned for more updates about the crafting system. Now the food basically will increase the experience points of your horse, or it will help them recover their condition faster. And there is different types of food. The race food is the fruit, and the grain types is the training food, and then there's other, and the other food has a variety of functions not related to racing or training. All right, and the food is graded from S+, S, A, B, C, D. So keep that in mind. You will be feeding your horses, raising them up, etc., etc. All right, so the marketplace, the Derby Stars website will have its own marketplace. Keep that in mind. You're going to be able to buy, sell, and trade horses, souls, and fowls. You're going to be able to decipher all the different skills and talents, etc., that you're looking for in your horse on the marketplace. And of course, buy and sell. And it will support Luna. So keep that in mind. Luna is a very valuable asset, and the marketplace currently supports Luna. So the fees, there will be fees involved, and of course there will be royalty fees and then breeding fees paid and run in the CRT token. So I won't be fully going over the tokenomic model in this video, but keep in mind, let's go over the native tokens very quickly. So the run token is the governance token, and this is rewarded via PvP racing and achievements, and this is needed for governance, staking, and payment. And this has a fixed supply of 500 million tokens. And then the CRT token is no max supply. This is needed for breeding, crafting, and synthesis. And this is rewarded for PvE training and building on land. Okay, so the run token will most likely hold more value later on. Now also there will be a Derby DAO. So profits from Derby Stars will be distributed among all participants of the ecosystem, including the Derby team, the players, and of course the DAOs, which are the token holders. All right, so most of the revenue generated through the game is accrued to the DAO pool for the operation and maintenance of the DAO. Some goes to the team and rewards pool. The run token accumulated in the rewards pool is not a reward that is returned to everyone. It is distributed to players who actively enjoy the game and contribute to the development of the ecosystem. Right, so if you are active, you will get rewarded. If you don't do anything, you won't get rewarded. Very simple. Now moving on, the allocations and the unlock schedule. So I encourage you to go through the white paper on your own time and look at the release schedule of the token, etc. Now let's go through the actual play to earn model and how players will get paid for playing Derby Stars. All right, so 18% of run tokens goes to players through gameplay with the final quantity of 90 million tokens. As a play-to-earn game, the goal of the Derby team is to develop a world so that all players can earn meaningful rewards using their own skills and strategies. The run reward is given to the high performers and land holders in competitions. There are many ways to do this. They include a ranking rewards based on the leaderboard, winning a PvP tournament, winning a special race tournament, or compensation according to the growth of land NFTs. So the more you play, the more you're going to get paid. Very simple. And if you win big tournaments, you will get paid more, of course. Now, let's go over the team. All right, so the team was formed in June of 2021. Some are based in Seoul, South Korea, and some are based in California. The Derby team is made up of talented members with careers ranging from 10 to 20 years, supported by reputable investors and strong communities. 20% of the tokens will be allocated to the core team members. The tokens bound by the smart contract will be unlocked gradually over 6 months, over a total of 3 years, starting from 1 year after issuance. The tokens paid to the team will be used to develop games, content, and essential infrastructure. And this is the vesting schedule. As you can see, it does increase over time. So keep that one in mind. And then also the staking and rewards. There will be more information about that in the future. So we did just cover a lot right there. We covered the entire Derby Stars ecosystem and play-to-earn model. Now the partners of Derby Stars, there are a lot of big partners. You can see Arrington Capital. You got SJ Park, who's a part of the Terraform Labs team. So this project is endorsed by the biggest players in the Terra ecosystem. This is no Joe Schmo project. This is a very big operation, which is why it is so highly anticipated. All of the previous NFT mints have sold out instantly for the most part. And the one coming up in May will most likely sell out very quickly. Now the roadmap, we can go to their website and go over the immediate roadmap. And currently we are right here in Q2 of 2022. So we're going to have the third presale soon. The alpha game will be launching. And then in Q3, the horse rental system will be updated. That is a scholarship program. And then in Q4 of 2022 into Q1 of 2023, the player versus player race tournaments will go live, as well as the crafting system. Then later on in 2023, we can look forward to having our own metaverse land in the Derby Metaverse, as well as building out the land. Now keep in mind, the Derby Stars team was generous enough to give the Crypto Empire community an opportunity to get whitelisted for the upcoming mint. Now you need to go to my Twitter account and you need to follow these instructions on this tweet here for your chance to win a whitelist spot. All right, right now I will be giving away 3 whitelist tickets for this next upcoming mint for Derby Stars. This is highly anticipated. I participated in the last mint a few months ago, and I'm definitely going to be participating in this next mint. I think these horses will be very valuable in the future, and I'm also very excited for this play to earn game to actually go live. Also, follow the Derby Stars on their own Twitter account and also join their Discord. Definitely get involved with this community. Learn about this game. You're already miles ahead of most people because you watched this video until the end and you fully understand how the game mechanics do actually work now. You understand why these horses have the value that they have, right? The floor price is 8.8 Luna, but I mean, we can go and take a look at some of these horses' prices and what they sell for. Some of them are selling for hundreds of Luna, right? If you get a rare one. You can also look at the price from high to low, and you can see that some of these horses are priced very high. If you get like a very rare unique horse, people are paying hundreds of Luna for these, all right? So you could potentially mint one of these and have a large sum of Luna if you do choose to sell it overnight, which is why I always like to participate in mints, because there is always that chance that you do actually get yourself a rare mint. So in this video, I broke down the Derby Stars Metaverse play to earn horse racing game. I hope that you did enjoy the video and you have a better understanding of how the entire Derby Stars ecosystem will actually run, including the monetization and the dual token model. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you let me know by leaving a like down below. And if you're new to Crypto Empire and you're not already subscribed, go ahead right now and smash that subscribe button and turn on all the notifications so that you don't miss any future videos. Also, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section down below. And my name is Connor from Crypto Empire, and I will see you in the next video.